Hey guys, it is me, Lightning here, and today, Bendy and the Dark Revival just had a brand new update, adding in something that we all wanted for so long, a brand new archive section. Exactly like in the original Bendy and Ink Machine, they had a whole archive section that showed the development, every single character model with a description, and showing us the development as, the game went along. So now they finally did that with Bendy and the Dark Revival now in this brand new free update. So yeah. Don't know how to get this whole setting things off the menu, but this is the archives and let's go click on it. They also updated the mouse. It looks different. So it looks like he just brings you into here. I forgot how the sensitivity of the mouse literally sucks. It says exit. It shows the whole inkiness right here. Go and exit it. And the mouse sensitivity, dang, it literally sucks. And this is it. The archives. Also, thumbnail shot from ML Spence on Twitter. Thank you for that thumbnail shot. And this is it. It says the archives, showing Ink Bendy, saying here's a Bendy. The iconic imp was redesigned for Bendy and the Dark Revival to stand out a bit from his traditional cartoon appearance by giving him a suit of clothes. Is that he posed some minor challenges. Creating him, I'm not going to say the word because specifically I always butcher it somehow. Creating a face for the spotted, creating the face for the sported. Did I just read that wrong? The classic Bendy error. I think I'm literally butchering this entire thing. The smile, but I managed to be the heartwarming in the right conditions. He is a fan favorite, so his design had to be just right. During production, we originally envisioned Bendy to walk with a series of cute squeaks to contract the dark, low voice of the demon. But this turned out to be very distracting, and the idea was scrapped pretty early on. So that is a cool new feature. I wish they would have played the sound, but I guess they didn't. They also have here, when you turn around, it says here, artist arrest. Pretty cool. Over here, we have like a little box here, and then obviously back we got the ink machine. You get shows here the ink machine. Oh, actually, there's a text. The ink machine, designed by Thomas Connor of the Gent Corporation, stolen by Joey Drew. I don't think it was stolen. Was it mentioned that it was stolen before? I don't know. And at the end of the game, it got retaken back. It's retrieved by Archgate and once again reclaimed by Gent. The ink machine's next adventure is a mystery. They're building up suspense for the next game. This build is my theory of the Bendy and the Dark Puddles gonna be a real game. It looks really cool. I definitely do love it. And now here is Ink Bendy. Where is my boy? Where's my boy Beta Bendy? Everybody said it was true, but they don't have Beta Bendy. The Little Devil Lounge, that's pretty funny, but where's Beta Bendy? I'm gonna go to here first. We'll look at that first. Then we got here Wilson. Wilson cartoon. Wilson was a difficult character to balance. At first, the player was purposely led to deceive he is one note, to believe he is one note character. He is a one-note character, obviously evil within an over-the-top villain personality, but as the story progresses, we see another side of the character, and the player becomes muddled with who this man really is. I think I don't know if I said that right. In one draft, Wilson was written as a servant of Nathan Arch Jr., a separate character at the time, but the story made more far sense when the two characters became one, eliminating a lot of needlessly narrative complexity. I kind of butchered that a little bit, but you understand. Wilson was supposed to be a janitor or a servant of Wilson Jr. Nathan Arch Jr., but he ended up being Nathan Arch Jr. Pretty interesting. Audrey, let's see what they have to say here now. Audrey cartoon. Audrey is a kind-hearted rogue with courage. I don't know if I said that right either. Determination, some flaws, and a deep, dark past. To make our story work, we needed a newcomer to the cartoon studio world, and Audrey was the perfect fresh eyes to help. Fresh eyes. I say flesh. Fresh eyes to help the exploration. I am definitely butchering this. Adventures. From day one of production, we knew that if people didn't connect with Audrey by the end of the game itself wouldn't be successful. Fortunately, she turned out to be quite memorable indeed, and stays and strands out of the other members of the cast. From the other members of the cast. Why am I butchering this? I'm a bad reader, by the way, so you have been warned. Just pause and mute to read yourself. Now let's go see Ink Bendy. The Ink Demon. As the the world of Dark Revival became more complex and established, we recognized Ink Demon's design needed a complete rethink. To rematch the new tone, previously version of the appearance looked absolutely silly when you placed it in the world alongside the other characters. No amount of creepy music or screen effects could cancel how out of place he looked. The Ink Demon needed to look different than everything else in the world, and show a natural progression of the Ink Demon's evolution as Wilson had held the cycle in place. So this does make sense and explains why they changed this, since everybody was wondering. I did a whole entire video on it. This was a video I did 2 weeks ago, got 51,000 views from me. I think that's a pretty good accomplishment. So yes, it was a leaked original design version of the, Ink Bendy, and it was very interesting. We never knew why they changed it or how it officially looked, and we were hoping for the archive so you could see a full official design. But sadly, since the archive is here, it looks like we're not going to be getting that at all. But we can see from here, we got him. We got the official question, and it finally explains everything of just how he looks silly and he didn't fit in place. And now, since, Wilson stopped the cycle, it makes sense for him to start evolving. And now I got here Beast Bendy. Beast Bendy returned of the climax. For the climax of the Dark Revival, Beast Bendy was revisited with a mindset of making him more powerful and beast-like. Traditionally, in most horror games, they tend to build a point where the main villain becomes a final monster. As a final boss, it's particularly a trope. Our idea of what if you could play as the final form instead, and that's how we played as Beast Bendy. Now, if we walk over here, we should see more different characters. Like here we got here Potter, did I say Wilson? Potter. As the cycle was held in place with the influence of the Ink Demon held at bay, the cartoon world was able to grow and advance, creating such characters as Potter, a lost one who came to claim a new identity as an explorer. Potter, written with the knowledge that Dark Revival would feature a far more serious tone than the first one of Bendy and the Ink Machine. The first game of Bendy and the Ink Machine and his lightheartedness, innocence would help the player feel some warmth within this inky world of sorrow. Then over here, we got here. Oh, I didn't think it was gonna be here. Hedda. I have no idea how to pronounce her name. It is believed that her has spent some time in the pit, a prison set up by Wilson and the keepers. It is unclear why, but most likely she was able to access places she shouldn't have. The experience in the pit changed her, as it does many. It says here, reverting her into a childlike state, longing for happiness again. Pretty self-explanatory. Reminds me of, Dr. Deception. I forgot her name, but in this corner we get here more interesting. Oh, it's a whole different thing. Okay, let's go see here. We got here Sammy Lawrence. And look, he has 5 fingers. They actually added them. Sammy Lawrence, famous music composer in the studio. Sammy Lawrence originally had a slightly larger role in the story of Bendy Dark Revival. But in the story already filled with so many characters, making them all play meaningful parts became a challenge. He was ultimately sidelined in favor of telling a more cohesive storyline, although it is more interesting to note that Sammy Lawrence appears to have mastered the flow ability in Bendy and Ink Machine long before Potter and Audrey could wield it. That makes so much sense, and I'm so happy they talked about that, even though I don't think flow was even thought of. Oh, this is gonna get interesting. Let's see Amok first. Lord Amok, who ruled the sewer cult. Lord Amok illustrates how the world of the Ink had continued to develop into different societies deep within the darkest places. Though he was weak in a fight, his name will simply never die. Yeah, he was a loser. He can't really fight. The next we got here is Alice Angel. As Alice Angel, the self-appointed queen of the studio. Don't know if I said that right. Alice Angel is one of the most memorable faces in the Bendy world, forever lost in a tide of insanity. She is absolutely she was an absolute delight to write for as a character. An angel with many layers. Time will tell only if this inky, I'm reading this too fast, inky temperance will ever rewrap. I read that. I butchered that. Just read it to yourself. I'm a tablet reader. You guys know that. Ooh, I don't know what's going to start off first. Okay, let's see. King Widow. That's a king. Oh, King Widow. Ink widows have begun to infest where the light grows darkest. Their king, the biggest and most fierce, will only emerge from the nest where the youngs are threatened. Okay, that makes sense. Then we got here now. Ship ahoy Doolittle. That's funny. Ship ahoy Doolittle. Did I even say that right? The determined invention of Wilson, created to serve dual purpose of dethroning the ink demon in the cartoon world, and also upstaging Joey Jew in the eyes of Wilson's father Nathan Arched. Neither of these happened. Ship ahoy Doolittle, or Doodaloo, whatever his name is, I'm butchering that so much, is a mystery sailor. Oh, mysterious sailor with his own eerie grin, similar of that of Bendy, not the Bendy. Along with his sidekick, Crackle the Crab, it's also known. Why is Crackle the Crab? It's also unknown what kind of cartoon adventures they would have gone together. I want a spin-off show. This needs to be a spin-off show. Dang it, they don't even have any descriptions for this. I need a spin-off show of this. I need it. Also, is Wilson up in there? Wilson isn't there. Look at that. Is that a bug like he said on Twitter? I think ML Spence said. Anywho, Lurker, that's his name, Lurker. The Lurker, or Steve, as he became to be known, was originally created as a brute type enemy that would free roam the way Lost Ones do, like they did in the game, the original trailers, and even the lost footage that originally got recovered. Ultimately felt unnecessary, as the random ink demon encounters already fulfilled the role of putting the player on edge while exploring previously traversed locations. In the end, the Lurker found a much better calling as an unlikely ally, effectively expanding him into more of just a typical enemy. That makes sense why he was in the trailer and also made merch off of him, but then he became different. This is really interesting. We're exploring a lot more of these characters, but now let's go move on to this side, and then there's a lot to explore here. Okay, we got here the Keepers, Wilson's deadly guards and scientists. They aren't perfect, but the Keepers will get the job done. No matter the cost, they are responsible for pressing the ink demon inside a smaller form, keeping his power sealed away, until Audrey came along and unwillingly changed the situation. The Keepers were visually designed to reflect the dangers and evils from the ink machine itself. Faceless beings from made of gears and wires, with no sense mortality, ordered around like cattle, creating a creation living without purpose. Dang, that must suck. Anywho, we also have yourself here, the Butcher Gang now. Look at all of them. Oh, wait, I want to see where she is, the fourth. Butcher Gang. Bartley, Charlie, and Edgar, the three original members of the Butcher Gang, were formed from the ink machine, deconstructed by I'm butchering this, by Alice Angel for body parts, and bond together to stay alive with sneak attacks on the prairie with their prey, in Dark Survival. We meet an artificial fourth member of the gang, Charlie, the ghost girl. Although when you begin to examine her closely, Charlie appears to only be a shell with purpose, with perhaps someone inside. Okay, all they're gonna say the same thing? Yeah, they all say the same thing. They all say the exact same thing. Pretty interesting. I don't want Charlie to jump scare me somehow. I know she's probably gonna jump scare me. Ooh. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, here Joey. Let's see Joey first. Joey Jew, memory. The man, the legend, the memory created this vision of Joey Jew was both an exciting and daunting process. It was clear from the start that Joey would be different from the one that was original. Bendy and Ink Machine game. This was a man with all the guilt from the past, but without the experience to fully understand it. The real Joey Jew made mistakes, but ultimately learned from them. This doesn't absolve him of his sins, I don't know, but at the end of his life he was able to help correct some of them and help fight the darkness he created. Okay, interesting. Next one. Let's see here. Betty, a faithful mate among us other things to Wilson. Betty was an important character of the story of Bendy and the Dark Revival. Of Dark Revival, as a failed experiment and someone relatively new to the cartoon studio. She was able to give a somewhat different point of view on the state of the world. We have purposely left it unclear if Betty was in on it on Wilson's plot to harvest Audrey, or if she was just a bystander. Behind the mask, there are still unanswered, and there are still answers to be found. So yep, we don't know if she's nice or evil. We will never know. Anywho, this is the whole real life version. Looks really cool. Let's see Audrey's donut. No, you cannot have it, Audrey. Love that. It's amazing. Anywho, we got Wilson and Audrey. Let's see. Audrey, the unknowing daughter of the animator pioneer, or whatever it is. Audrey had blocked out the memory of her past after losing her father, but his role in her life was not over. A talented animator and artist, her skills landed her a job at Arch Gates. It was fate that led her to reunion with Joey Drew, the machine, Joey Drew's machine, the machine of her birth, or was it planned? We have no idea. Now, Wilson, haunted by the impossible shadow of Nathan Arch, Wilson sought to achieve something that would make his father proud. By luck, he stumbled upon the ink machine, and he was able to become the cartoon world's new master, holding the cycle in place. He continued his experiments that could not fully be realized until the ink demon was purged. However, unnaturally entering to and from the ink realm has taken a toll on Wilson's physical being, slowly robbing him of his health. So that explains why he's all coughing and weird old like. Anywho, that's pretty interesting. I did not know they were going to say that. Now let's go on to the next and last room, the cycle breakers. The last three. Look at them, the cycle breakers. This all looks good. That's so funny. Henry Stein, the original cycle breaker, Henry Stein, is a ghost of a man who lost his purpose years ago. Once fulfilled with finding a way to escape the tortures of the ink demon and finding his way home to his wife. He had a wife? That's why he says Uncle Joey. Henry is now left with the cold reality of being a recreation of a person he thought he was. Saved a special surprise for his fans of Bendy and Ink Machine game. Henry was strategically omitted from all public discussion of the character during the entire production, which spanned several years, but Henry returned to a very satisfying face reveal. Yes, he had a face reveal, and that means he's not the real Henry. I also butchered this, so sorry for all that. You have to listen to all that. Now I got here Allison, returning for another victory after over the ink demon. Alice is always the voice for a reason, a beacon of hope. Alice's design was carefully upgraded from the previous Bendy and Ink Machine game to maintain her personality, but with more fatality, or I don't know if I read it right. The purpose of meeting Alice so early in the competition or campaign was to introduce the player to a familiar face after the main introduction at the start. Alice was able to serve as the motivating force for Audrey until this true plot kicks in later. Then the last one we got here now is Tom. That's Boris though. Tom is Alice's silent protector and the only clone and the only Boris clone involved in the main story. And the only Boris? Yeah, why? Where is Boris the wolf? Rumors has it that during the events of the game, Boris is experiencing a dark survival of his own. Okay, are you telling me you're going to have a different game? Or you're telling me this is Boris in a dark survival? And they're literally just letting us know that this is Boris in a dark survival. Letting us know it takes the exact same place as Bendy in the dark survival. Is that what they're trying to tell us? I have no idea. We need to know. Anywho, that was it for the Bendy and the Dark Revival, the archives. This is literally an interesting room. It lets us know everything about all the characters, but the one thing I think is still missing is Beta Bendy and some old Beta animations. I wish they would have had it in here, but maybe if they update it, maybe we'll be able to see it. But anywho, let me know in the comments below what you guys do think about it. Sorry for my terrible reading, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.